Not at all whatsoever. I ain't got time for that. Welcome to Daycare Chronicles 101, and I am your host, Miss Tanya. This week's podcast is about the uniqueness of family daycare. Yes, being a family daycare provider is such an amazing thing to be. Let me tell you, for the simple fact that you're dealing with different age groups within one setting. So that to me is one of the factors that makes family daycare unique. You may have infants, you may have toddlers, you may have preschoolers, you may have school age, you may have evening care, you may do 24-hour care. Your daycare is what you make it and what you want it to be. There's no limitations on what your program can be like. And with that being said, once you get licensed, you may have an idea like in your mind, okay, I want this is what my day is going to be like. These are the age groups. And then you actually start to do the work. And in the process of doing the work, this is where you create what your program is really going to be about. Because let me tell you something. Until you start receiving children, you may have that thought in your mind of how you want your program to be or whatnot, in your family home. But depending on who's calling, who you're accepting, who chooses you, who gets to stay, who's not terminated, that will depend upon how your day is going to be, how your makeup is going to be as far as your daily activities, inside, outside. And let me just say this as a sidebar. If you do not have an outdoor classroom, please, please, please create one. Create one. Especially now, due to COVID, we are seeing that, licensing wants us to be outside more. They want us to have an outdoor classroom. If you need assistance, you can go to my website, www.daycarechronicles101.com. You can hit me up on any of my social media. You can send me an email at daycarechronicles101@yahoo.com. You can do that. I will assist you and help you in creating that outdoor space, that outdoor classroom for your children. Now back to what I was saying. Daycare changes. So say this month you may have infants and toddlers. Maybe 7 months down the line you have more preschoolers. Maybe you have more school age. The need in your area is more school age. It just depends. But your daycare day will depend upon the ages of the children in your care. And that's the beautiful, unique thing about daycare. We're able to keep siblings. Whereas, with center-based, sometimes that's not always the case. Sometimes they don't have where they can have your infant and your school ager as well. Whereas in family daycare, if that's something that you offer in your program, then it just makes it more convenient for the parent to be able to do a one drop stop, one pickup, it just makes it so much easier for them. So I'm often asked, how do you, do the different activities with the children? What if you have an infant? What if you have a toddler or a preschooler? Well, what you do is you can have the same concept, but different activities within the same room with all the children. It's as simple as that. It is not rocket science. It is as simple as that. The hard part for the provider may be, especially for a new provider, is finding out what works, what children are attracted to, what activities they like to do, how to keep them engaged. Now that can be the challenging part, especially like for a new provider. Or I'm hearing a lot now that there are providers that are coming from, early Head Start, or they're coming from working in preschools to where they want to open up their own daycare. So they do have that educational background foundation on how to deal with children, how to keep them engaged, how to have, the appropriate activities for them. But let me tell you, it's just a beautiful thing every day to be able to see the growth and development of each age group as well in family daycare. Since COVID hit, The world knows that we're essential. Well, we already knew that we were essential. I did an interview a couple of weeks ago, and they're like, well, when did you realize that you were an essential worker? Well, I always knew that. I always knew that parents can't go to work unless they have daycare. And those of us that do it, we know that. So this was nothing new in the daycare, childcare world. We knew this already. The world is just finding this out. You know, we care for children because we just have that love. And a lot of us started off caring for other children because we want to stay home with our children. So that's just how it became. Daycare is so different now than it was 50, 60 years ago. So different now. I remember what I paid my provider when my daughter was a newborn, and my daughter is now going to be 33 this month. And we paid her $40 a week. And I'm looking like, wow, even though times were different then, still, if someone came to me and was like, well, all I have is $40 a week, I would be like, baby, I'm sorry, Miss Tanya can't help you. Let me try to help you get on the program. Okay. I tell her to this day, we still owe you money. You know, she's a good friend of mine. And so I'm just like, yeah, daycare is definitely essential, definitely unappreciated to a certain extent. We know in this daycare world, childcare world, how essential we are. We just have to let the world know. I feel like the world knows now. We've shown them, that we are essential. We go to all the workshops, we do the trainings, we do all those things. And yet and still, unless you're in the daycare world, it didn't matter to the rest of the world, which is very, very unfortunate. Very unfortunate, because we know how valuable the little lives that we are caring for and rearing and setting the foundations for mean. The foundation that they get in family daycare is so essential to their being. That's why in my program now, after doing it for so long, I was so structured in the beginning. Like, we're going to do this, 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 and this. I was so focused on, okay, I'm going to get you ready to go to kindergarten. I need you to meet these milestones. I need you to do this. And over the years, and I guess becoming a grandmother, I want to give a shout out to my two beautiful grandsons, Amir Karan and Ace Kareem. They are my life, okay? Like, I am so thankful that I have been able to care for both of them and rear both of them. I definitely, you're always a better grandparent than you were a parent. Okay? So it's all about that foundation that we're setting with the children, and that we're able to even see them meet certain milestones. And a lot of times we see things before the parents see them because they're here with us all day. We see that first walk. We see that first tooth breaking through, that first little fall, or that first little scrape, or that first little scratch. We see all of those things. The first time you're eating, a lot of times, all of these things happen in family daycare. And I don't take that lightly. And I know that other providers, I know that you don't take it lightly at all either. So now that you got your license, what's next? What you gonna do? How important is your program to you? How important is your program to your community? Or do you want to change lives, or are you just getting licensed just because you just want to make some money? Some people get into this just for the money because they understand that you can, live a very lucrative lifestyle doing family daycare, depending on their hours of operation, the days that you work, the amount of children that you have. It just depends. So you have your license, your community needs you, you're there. How much are you investing back into your business? That's important. I know a lot of providers that are licensed and it's all about them and what they have for themselves. And that's very unfortunate. Then you have a lot of providers that really invest back into their business, back into their children in their daycare. One rule that I live by: in order to make money, you have to spend money. And so I am one of those providers. I love play. I love education. That I am always, and my husband, my family, my friends, anyone that knows me, my clients, ex-clients, current clients, they will tell you, Miss Tanya invests back into the children. I invest back into the daycare. This is just who I am. This is just what I do. I want to make sure that my children are in a learning, nurturing, loving environment every day. So my outdoor classroom is just as important as my indoor classroom. The beautiful thing about that is anything that's indoors, you can just roll it outdoors. It's not about spending a whole lot of extra money. It's just about creating that look, that space. Who says the children can't go outside and sing their ABCs sitting at the table? Who says the children can't go outside and do their addition or subtraction puzzles? Who says the children can't go outside and do art? Who says the children can't go outside with a book and have an outdoor library? If you follow me on social media, you'll know that I have posted videos and pictures of outdoor libraries. Go to Costco, get that little $19.99 piece of carpet. It's green, outdoor carpet. Lay it down. Throw some cushions on top of it, some pillows, a couch, a chair, a blanket, whatever you have. And take your little library caddy out there, put you some books. If you don't have a library caddy, put you some books down on the ground. Let me tell you something. Children do not require a whole lot. It's about how things look to them. It has to be engaging. It has to be different. We have our books in our caddy in the house. Okay, that's fine. But when I take that caddy outside, put that carpet down, put my little emoji cushions down, or a blanket, or, a chair or something that's outside. Oh my goodness. You would have thought we had walked to the library. It's all about creating the environment for them. Children like what they see, just like we do. We like what we see. That first impression of something. Who says you can't take your kitchen set outside? Who says you can't have a mud kitchen area outside? Who says you can't have your sensory area outside? Children love to be outside. I'm a provider that loves to be outside too. So I have I call it my mud kitchen sensory area outside, where they can, pretend play with food like they're cooking, or we can do bubbles, or we can do some sensory stuff. I have rocks down there, and they like to put the rocks inside the measuring cups and shake them around and pour them into the bowls. It's just a beautiful, wonderful sensory area experience for them. And so I make sure that I'll go to Target or Home Goods or even the dollar store, the 99-cent store, Big Lots, and I'll get kitchen utensils that are safe for them and put them in their area. I'll give them dish rags. I'll fill it up with water, their little sink area. And when I tell you that they have such a wonderful time in that area. And for those of you who say, well, I don't have money for, maybe a mud kitchen outside or whatnot. Let me tell you what I did in the beginning. I wanted a mud kitchen. The mud kitchens that I saw were like $500 to $1,000. I saw them on Pinterest. I love Pinterest. And so I was standing outside, and you know how you get the storage that stands up and it has like the shelving with it? The idea came to me to make my mud kitchen area out of that. So I literally took the bottom part with the legs, and there's one little table, piece there. And I had my handyman come over. I took another piece that would, lay flat and put it to the back so that there's a backing there. Voila. The set was like $60 at Home Depot, if it was that. My little handyman came over, and it doesn't even have to have a back. So if you don't want it to have a back, it doesn't. It could just be like a table. I went on Amazon, ordered some little kitchen stickers or whatnot, like for the stove, put them there, bam. And I love that better than the mud kitchen for the simple fact that it had all these holes in it, and so anything would just drain on right down into the rocks or whatnot. Just beautiful. Didn't cost much. And that one shelving unit made about 3 of the kitchen area sets. If you go to my Instagram or my YouTube, you'll see it, Daycare Chronicles 101. It's in there. The children love that area. So it's all about just creating fun environments. And another thing to do that we don't always do as adults, get down to their level, get on your knees and just kind of look around and see, what are the children seeing at their eye level? And, we're taught that in early childhood development. Look around and see, get on your knees, get down on all fours like you're an infant and just see what they're seeing so that you can, get a better view of their environment from their eyes. You could definitely do that. And then that way you're like, okay, well, maybe I should add this, maybe I should add that. Pinterest is definitely a wonderful place to go and look for things. And then also reach out to other providers and see what they're doing. You never know. Go on YouTube and look and see. You never know what you may find. Step 2 offers, backyard settings or whatnot. Little tags. Melissa and Doug has all types of, y'all know I love Melissa and Doug in Step 2. Speaking of those two, Miss Tanya has become an affiliate of theirs, which means that I am able to provide you all a link through my sites to where if you shop through the link, then Miss Tanya will get, credit for that. And I am out here giving you all these ideas and sharing and inspiring. So I hope that you will do that. Shop through my link. Just want to put that out there. So if you go on my Instagram, in my bio, it's there. On my website, it's there. So I just want you all just to support Miss Tanya in that matter, because I love sharing and I love giving. But Miss Tanya got to eat too, okay? But this, I just love play, and I love creating memories for the children. This is what we do in family daycare. We create memories. Don't forget that. Don't forget that at all. Another area in my outdoor classroom is I have a rock quarry. So I went to Home Depot. I grabbed the little pebble stones, a few bags of those, and I put it in my area. And I added some, dump trucks and shovels and rakes and things like that, and cups and measuring cups and things like that. When I tell you that is one of the best areas. When they have worked Miss Tanya to where Miss Tanya needs a break, I'll be like, okay, come on, y'all, let's go. We go to do sensory. And they love it, and they're quiet, and they just have a good time. Or either they're having conversations with one another. I just love having the outdoor sensory areas as well as the indoor. Create your outdoor classroom. Trust me, you will definitely love it. If you need to put a hat on, some sunblock, you need some tennis shoes on with the socks or whatever, opposed to your sandals or whatever, do that as well. Make sure that the children are having a wonderful time, because once a child gets bored and you don't have anything else for them to do, that's where the issues may arise. And I'm a firm believer in that. Keep them busy, and then they don't have time to get bored. However, being bored is a good thing as well, because it can bring out creativity. You can say, oh, I'm bored, but there's a whole table over there with arts and crafts stuff on it. Well, you know what? Would you like to go over there? Let's see what you can create over there. Being bored is not a bad thing at all whatsoever, to a certain extent. I'll say that. Especially when you're dealing with older children. They just want to put a game or a controller in their hands. And so I always make sure they have lots of arts and crafts things, lots of books for them to do. There's also, like with the older children, I have this Melissa and Doug rug, and it has like 6 different things. They can do Chinese checkers, they can do tic-tac-toe, they can do chess, they can do checkers. It's like a whole rug. And I got it at Home Goods. It was like maybe $15.99, and they love it. They love it. They can just, when they want to stop doing tic-tac-toe, and they can go and do checkers, or they can go. I have one little girl who loves to draw, so I make sure that she has art things as well, just for her to go and be able to be creative. In family daycare, you have to get to know your children. And like I said, you don't always have the same type of children all the time. It just depends on who's making those calls, who you're accepting, and who's choosing you. Those three things make a difference in your daycare. So right now I'm with mostly toddlers, and I just love it. They're just yummy. I just love it. And I have so many things for them to do. And we don't do the same thing every day. One thing about daycare too is, in anything in life, if you're doing the same thing all the time, it can become redundant and it can become boring. Children have feelings too. Children, sometimes they be like, I don't want to do that. I just did that. Okay, well, you know what? Here's something that teaches the same concept. Instead of getting the ABC magnet board, would you like the Elmo ABC case to where you can take them out and put them back in and we can go over that? I mean, the possibilities are just endless. And if you're a provider who is struggling with being creative, because when it comes to arts and crafts, Miss Tanya is not creative. I will buy anything, but that is just not my niche right there. So if you're a provider that is struggling with, different activities or different things to do, reach out to other providers, see what they're doing. I do consultations. You can definitely hit me up, send me a DM, go to my website, leave me a message, and I'll get back to you. But you have to be able to know where your strengths and your weaknesses are. That's so, so, so important. Like, I know that I am not the arts and crafts person. So my daughter is very creative. I will call, I will ask her, I will go on Pinterest. I will look at other providers, projects that they're doing, like on Instagram or on YouTube, things like that. And I'll get ideas from there for my children as well. I'll go to Lakeshore Learning. They always have activities there. Oriental trading is such a wonderful asset. Let me say that. Oriental Trading has everything. So they have projects that are already like, okay, this is everything you need for this project. Here you go. Give them some glue and let them go at it. So that's pretty much Miss Tanya. Lakeshore used to have the kits to where it had everything in it and the children could just be creative, but you didn't have to go looking around the whole store for stuff. I haven't seen those lately, but Oriental Trading does have those. So check out Oriental Trading. So you have your license, you have your children, you have your outdoor classroom, you have your indoor classroom. So it's like, what's going to set your daycare apart from every other daycare in your area? Ask yourself, what are you going to offer? What's going to be your special perk? What's going to be your niche that everybody will know? Oh no, I want my children over there at Miss Susie's house, or over at Kanisha's house, or over at Miss Tanya's house, because I know what I'm going to get for my children. I know what I'm going to get for my money that I'm paying for my child to be there. What is going to be that ish for you? You have to decide that. And it may not come right away, but I'm sure it will come in time. If you love children and you're doing this because you want to be an asset in their lives, that you want to be a part of their village, it will come to you. Another thing about family daycare that is just so amazing and so wonderful is that you can set your own rules, your own policies, your own regulations, and this is it. I was on a call the other day, a Clubhouse call, and there was someone that was saying that, she worked at a center, and that basically, if a child didn't fit the program, or if the child was not getting along with the other children or with the other teachers, that they couldn't terminate care. And so I just really felt for her. I was like, oh my gosh, imagine going to work every day or opening your door every day to a child that just did not fit the program, where it takes this one child that he just disrupts everybody. And so I really, really felt for her. And I was just so thankful that I do what I do, and that I'm a family daycare provider, and that we do have state guidelines that we follow, licensing guidelines. However, your rules are your rules. And so if a child doesn't fit, then you're able to terminate, and it's okay. Termination is not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing, and we need to not look at it like that for those of us that do, because I don't look at it like that. There may be where you can't meet the needs as a provider. You know, I had a little boy in the daycare and I loved him dearly, but I just was not able to meet his needs. I had to terminate. I had a client where I kept her daughter, but her son just didn't fit the program. So I had to terminate because he just did not, I couldn't meet his needs, and he didn't fit the program. And it's okay. Termination is not a bad thing, because as providers, we want the best for every child in our care. We definitely do. I always do a healthy snack tip during my podcast, and this one is no different. I have one here. It's pancakes with strawberries. Oh my goodness. So what you'll do is you'll take frozen strawberries or fresh strawberries and a little bit of preserves, any flavor that you want. I would use strawberry because I'm using strawberries. And then you just do your pancakes the way that you want to do them. You can add a little bit of yogurt into your pancakes as well. Cook the strawberries and the preserves together. Just, lightly, just, simmer them a little bit so that they get kind of soft and all the gels are, mushing in together and it's like a glaze over it. So once you cook your pancakes, then you'll take the strawberry preserve mixture, whatnot, just fresh strawberries and, your jams or whatnot, and you'll spoon it into the middle of the pancake. You'll fold it over, and then you'll just put it in the oven maybe for like a couple of minutes, and then you can just drizzle a little more strawberry over it. You talk about yummy. Oh my goodness. Pancakes with strawberries. It doesn't matter if it's for breakfast, if it's for snack. They're gonna love it. They're gonna enjoy it. We got to switch it up with the children. We have to introduce them to different things as providers too. I want to encourage you all to create a garden with your children. Even if it's just an herb garden, if you're able to grow, let me tell you, tomatoes grow easily, strawberries, zucchini, squash, cabbage, all those things grow really, really easy. And you can usually get the strawberry pots at Home Depot. They usually have them there. And sometimes Costco has them as well. I hope that I have said something during this podcast to encourage you to do more with the children, to encourage you to create your outdoor classroom. I just want you to know that I love daycare. I love helping and inspiring others. That's what Miss Tanya is here for. And I am here for all of you. I want to thank you so much for listening and supporting Daycare Chronicles 101. And remember, if you don't want to be a chronicle, don't do it.